I didn't actually check my mic was on. Oh, we're live. There we go. Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us. I'm very pleased to say I have Damien with me for a hangout. How are you doing, Damien?
Good evening. I'm fine, thanks. How are you?
Yeah, good. We thought we'd get together and have a chat. Now, I was thinking actually, we have been in a live stream, but it wasn't on my channel. I do remember chatting with you.
I don't think it's been a sort of scheduled one. I think we popped in drinking with Andrew at the same time, or like the others where they just drop in and out. We've been on a couple, so we have met virtually before, but not. I don't think it's anything structured like this.
No, because I remember chatting with you about sort of the early days and Beanie Babies and all of that, and your history of how you got into this.
Yeah, that was my start. That's 22 years ago, 20 to 22 years ago.
Yeah, because they were big around, oh my goodness,
about 98.
Mid to late 90s they took off.
And then the market just went in the space of about 3 months. It was sad times. I still see them around at boot fairs and whatnot and pine for the good old days. It's like you see them for like 99p. It's like selling them for $100. And and now they're not worth anything. There's still a box in my mum's loft that I put when it was big. I put a box together. So okay, these are all the valuable ones. So one of each of them is about 20 of them, and they're probably not even worth 20 quid for the lot. And they're still in their mint condition. And
I think Beanie Babies is a good cautionary tale, isn't it? It's one of those.
Yeah, I do see Funko Pops going the same way, probably in about another decade or so. Like, most of them aren't worth any money, which is the same as what it was with Beanie Babies. And then there's the ones that are worth lots, and then one day there just won't be the interest in them, and something they moved on to other things, and everyone will be sitting on a collection that'll be worth £1 each. And
it's cyclical.
Yeah, it is, and something else will come along.
Yeah, and then in another couple of decades, they'll be really collected again, and people will go back to them. I still think the Beanie Babies. We've gone off on a tangent already. What's happening? But I think the Beanie Babies will have a resurgence. I really do think that.
I don't think they've got it. The reason why the market went in the first place was because Ty, the company that makes them, they were so upset with the secondary market and like the value. They just flooded. They just upped production and flooded the market, and it just killed it, and it's never recovered since. And they just churn them out now, and they don't do exclusives so much anymore. If at all, I'm out of touch for the last few years, but they just stopped doing the exclusives.
Do you not think that people who were kids in the late 90s will soon be thinking, I'll buy back what I had in my childhood, and all those first few ranges might be I don't think they'll have much value because there's too many of them, but they may be collected again.
Maybe. It'd be nice to see some of them go back up in value and sort of have a few chase items in there. But I don't see it. Something else will come along.
Anyway, I don't know how we got into that. Right. So yes, welcome, Damien. Really pleased to have you on. We are live. If you're watching live, please pop in and say hello. We'll say a few quick hellos before we kick off. Zane was in really early and waiting. Welcome, Zane. Exploring with Ashley. Yes, I saw your offer. I've accepted that. Thank you so much for supporting our business by shopping from our store. That will probably go out tomorrow. We're going out for Andrea's birthday, so I'm not shipping tomorrow. So it won't go out tomorrow now, actually. Charlie is in. Brum Reseller. Welcome, lots of people. Erica, rare occasion catching alive. Fantastic. Right, let me scroll to the end. Hello, everyone who's watching us live. So we thought we'd have a chat about doing this crazy going full time. How long have you been full time now?
Full time since December, and timing wasn't great. It's like, I've had enough of my job, quit my job, and then this crazy thing coming out of China a couple of months later. Everyone was getting poorly, and had to survive the lockdown, which I managed to do. And if I can survive that, business can survive that, then it's robust enough going forward, and I've got no worries there. But times first half of the year.
I guess it was a bit of a baptism of fire. Yeah, you suddenly took the plunge and then couldn't source.
Yeah, it was written like we went into lockdown at the end of March, and then April was just brilliant, best month ever. Just selling all my stock, and then I got to sort of beginning of May, and it was like, well, I haven't actually got any stock left to sell, and I can't buy any. So I was scratching around Facebook and various places what I could. But yeah, so May and June were very, very quiet because I just didn't have the stock. And then thankfully the boot fairs kicked in again and the charity shops started opening. And now I've had the best 2 months. July and August were just on fire. And September's a bit slow, but
well, September
last couple of days. But yeah, August was amazing. Absolutely amazing.
Yeah, I think there's a lot going on in the background. eBay are obviously doing this, switching over to managed payments. It feels like with us, they're turning things on and off, because we went from a 250 odd pound day to a 299 day. You know,
that's 299 more than what I did yesterday.
Right. And then last night switched back on, and today's been pretty good. You know, so
it's been better.
Yeah, I think something's going on at eBay in the background.
Yeah, it wasn't working properly for a bit yesterday, and and then there was that global internet outage on the weekend as well, which hit things for a few hours on Sunday. And it swings and roundabouts, and you've got to look at the bigger picture and sort of take the month as a whole. If you get too bogged down on your no sales days or your record, £300, £400 in one day, then you'll just drive yourself insane.
So have you found, I mean, you're fairly new to this is your full-time income aspect. So have you found that difficult to adjust to, the fact that you don't have a set wage and it's all down to you and what you can sell in any given month? Have you found that easy or not?
Well, yeah, it's not been difficult because I pay myself. I mean, I'm fortunate enough that my other earns a decent amount of money that we can ride the waves. Plus, I made sure I had savings before I started, so that I wasn't reliant on it from a month-to-month basis. When I quit the job, it was like, can I go an entire month without selling a single thing and still be fine? And the answer was yes. I didn't expect to have to prove it quite so quickly with the situation, but I've always had that buffer, and I haven't had to use much of that buffer at all over the summer. So I pay myself. At the moment, I'm still growing, still trying to build up the business as much as possible, which I probably will do for at least the next year or two. So I just pay myself £150 a week into the joint account, and everything else gets reinvested back into the business, and that's enough to cover everything that we need to, so we live comfortably at home, and still have enough money in the business to be able to keep it growing. I mean, I could take out more. I could go on a holiday to down the road or somewhere, but it's all about growing the business. So as far as paying myself, I'll just pay myself a minimum amount, and the business is doing a lot better than that as it is. So I haven't had that struggle.
That's interesting hearing you say that you're taking out the minimum that you can, so the business flourishes and grows. Because looking back to when Andrea and I started with our high street shop, we were doing that. We were taking out enough to pay our rent and be okay, and we ploughed everything back in. For the first 2 or 3 years, we between us were taking less than minimum wage because we could, and we wanted to grow the business. And I think a lot of people perhaps don't understand that that thought process. But then we saw the payoff from that when the business expanded, and all of a sudden we were in charge of something that was earning us really good money. So it's interesting to hear you say that. Yeah,
well, you have the choice. You have the choice of either sort of building the business forward and ploughing all the money you can into that, which is good if you've got a part-time job or a full-time job and you're doing it part-time where you can expand. But if you take a sort of very narrow, short-term picture of it and just go, right, I quit the job, and then, right, okay, I need to earn £1,000 a month. So that's what, £1,500 worth of sales. Take that out, and then whatever you've got left is, so you'll just end up stagnating, and it's a very sort of short-term thing. So you need to think, okay, well, where do I want to be in 3-5 years' time? Do I want to still be doing this? I don't want to go back to not have a boss anymore. So, okay, well, where do I want to be in the next couple of years? And what do I need to achieve that? I need to not take the money now. In hindsight, perhaps I could have stayed at the job for another year, because I only started the business in August last year and then left at Christmas. So it was only 4 months of getting the business up and running and going. But like I said, I had the savings and the other income so it afforded me to be able to do that. others might not be in a position if they're single, or their partner's only earning minimum wage or whatever. They would have to build up the business for a longer period if they wanted to go full time. But yeah,
you're right. I mean, I was reseller. Dens there was agreeing about making sacrifices in the early days, and I'm very aware that some people in a way don't have that luxury. I mean, you have a partner who, like you say, is bringing in X amount of money. Looking back to when we started, we built up our eBay store for more than a year before we even took the plunge, so we had it almost running on full steam. It was still a gamble. I quit my job in the police. Andrea left Amazon. We were kind of set up for life. It was still a crazy gamble, but we had that kind of guaranteed income. We'd seen what eBay could do for us. We weren't going, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to do this, jump. But I am aware that, and we also had savings. We made sure we were okay financially. It was interesting to hear you say,
okay,
you had worst case scenario, this doesn't work, can I survive for a couple of months or whatever? And so we had that, but I'm aware that for some people that just isn't an option.
No, if they're made redundant or something, they find themselves, where they've been pottering around doing eBay for 6 months, a year, whatever, and enjoying it, and all of a sudden, because of where we are today, they've not got a job anymore. It's like, okay, well, I need to make this work full time, and that I can see a lot of struggles with that, because they've got to pay themselves enough to eat, but they've also still got to go out and buy stock and pay their eBay fees and pay fees and work and postage fees. And they're running to the bone, and you'll see posts on Facebook. It's like, I need to do a refund and I've got no money in my PayPal account anymore because I needed it for XYZ. It's hard. It is hard, and they're having the money behind you to start with is the key, and you have to plan for that, because you can't go from sales one day to the next, because otherwise it'll drive you insane.
Following on from the previous comment, reseller ends, for me, I'm still working full time so I can plow it all back in. And that is the kind of, if you had a choice of a way to do it, that's how we did it back in the day, and how I would recommend. And also it gives you that period of 6 months to a year, whatever, to find out if you love eBay, because I think you have to love it to do it. It's a life choice. It's not easy. It takes over your life. It takes over your mind.
So midnight, 2 o'clock in the morning, it's like, this I've got to do that tomorrow, and all that. You can't switch off. And if you're not in the mindset where you're comfortable not being able to switch off, then I don't think you're going to enjoy it long term. It's like like you say, it is a lifestyle. eBay is, the business is your life, and if you're not in that sort of workaholic kind of mindset where you're thinking about it, then you'll just make you miserable.
I think you're right. On that sort of thought, has your attitude to your business changed in any ways since it becoming everything that you do? Is it less fun? Is it more challenging? What's the difference?
I love it. I don't find it particularly difficult. It's a lot of hard work and it's a lot of effort, but it's not difficult in a way sort of like brain surgery is, or anything like that. You're buying stuff at one price and you're selling it for more, and you've just got to be able to do the maths and all that. But it is a lot of effort, and I enjoy it. I love getting the ka-chings, and like the ka-ching's like a fruit machine. It's just the night lights and the noise that gives you that certain rush of endorphins that makes you happy. And and finding stuff. You go into a charity shop, or you go into Tesco's or whatever, and you see something that's, it's like, I can make profit there. And so like last night, it was Spotify. If you've got a Spotify account, they're doing an offer at the moment where if you've got their premium service, they're giving away a free Google Nest thing, sort of like the home hubs. It's 50 quid. And my first thought was like, it's 50 quid profit there. We would have got like, Luke has a Spotify subscription, so it's like, right, get me free.
We have that. So how on earth? How are they giving away a £50?
Just log in on the website, and like if you've got a premium, if you pay for Spotify each month, you can qualify for a free hub thing.
Right, I'm on it.
we've got two Amazon Alexas, so the Google Hub's no use to us. So it'll go straight on eBay when it turns up.
Right, I'll get Andrea on that when we go off air because she deals with the Spotify account.
They're 50 quid. So it seems like that. It's just like always. It seems to have ended, but it was only while stocks last. But I signed up yesterday, so it might still.
Oh, okay.
Get in quick. But
I think clearly you have a brain that works that way. And when we spoke before, you were saying about with the Beanie Bears thing, your brain was already thinking that way 20 years ago. So how much of this do you think is in you and how much is learned? I mean, do you think you have to be that way inclined to start?
I think a lot of it is learned. There's a little bit in me, but if it was more in me, then I was starting this business years ago, because when the Beanie Baby business wrapped up, obviously the internet wasn't as prevalent there. There was no YouTube. There was none of the information that we have available today. It was well, I want to carry this on. What can I sell? And I couldn't find anything else to sell. It didn't twig that go to boot fairs and buy stuff there. It didn't twig to go in charity shops or anything like that. We experimented with because the guy I was running with, he had a toy shop. So we experimented selling sort of like action figures and various other things that he had in the shop, and it just didn't have the same level of success. I mean, with the Beanie Babies, we were, at the height of it, we were pulling in 10 grand a month plus. It was, we were buying them for £5 each. We were selling them for $100 each to America, and we were selling 100 a month. It was mental. And nothing else was selling in quite the same way. So we just went our separate ways, and I ended up getting, a real job, and that's how it went for the best part of 20 years. But it was just always in the back of my mind, I just want to find something that I can buy for £5 and sell for £10, and get it on a regular basis. And it didn't twig that it was like, okay, well, there's lots of things out there for £5 that you can sell. It might not be the same thing every time. Mm-hmm. And then one day I just stumbled across Zahir's channel and one of his videos, which quickly led into your chats with the two of you, and it led into you. And then I just went down that rabbit hole and never came out again.
Yeah, it's fascinating. I mean, we've heard Zahir saying that he had that aha moment, and many others. And just because the likes of myself, Tom, the guys in America that were doing it before us on YouTube, were just sharing, this is what we do and this is how we do it. And I think sometimes it just needs that little nudge for you to go, there's every weekend, there's hundreds of people selling stuff. And that's all it takes. I just highlighted Lloydie is in. Hi, I work full time and do eBay on the evenings and weekends. My aim is to do reselling full time in the future. Yeah, build it up without the pressure of the financial side of it if you've got the full time job. And I think slowly but surely build it up until you can take the jump. But in contrast, and there is no right and wrong, we've got global thrifters. We got back from traveling and dove straight in head first. Just over two years ago, is that? And haven't looked back. But I think if I was quitting a job and going into it, it would be harder. Interesting. I mean, there is that comfort thing of I've got a job. When should I leave? Should I leave? Should I not? I mean, I remember Steve Green going through that kind of decision-making process when he was thinking about quitting his job. Yeah,
it's quite a wake-up call that first month after your payday is due from your everything. There's actually no money. The £2,000 that you were getting every month for turning up at 8 o'clock every morning, 5 days a week, all of a sudden it's not there. It's like, hang on a minute, I need to do it. I need. It's like the money comes from there now, not there. And it's like, well, that's a big moment. And if you've been traveling, then you're not used to having that regular income anyway, and you come in, so right, okay, so you're used to fending for yourself, doing the traveling, and you come back and you're still fending for yourself. When you're working in a job, it's like, well, you've got pretty much everything laid up on a plate. You go somewhere, you do stuff for somebody else, and they give you money, and regardless of whether you work really hard or whether you just sit around playing Minesweeper all day, they give you money. they might sack you after a while, but they give you the money, and then all of a sudden it's like, well, I've got to do this myself. So it's like fight or flight, and you just got to get on it and do it. And and it's like some people are not happy to do that, and
well,
got that.
Here's the thing: in many ways, having a job is amazing. Like you say, you go in, even if you barely do what you're supposed to, you're having a bad week and you just bimble along, you will get the same money, you will get that paid in. You can take a holiday and you will still get paid. You can be ill, you will still get paid. That side of it, I think, is one of the biggest shocks when people go, yay, I'm free, and now, oh, everything's on my shoulders. Oh, hang on, I don't get paid because I'm ill. Oh, hang on, I don't get paid when I go on holiday.
Quite underrated when you think about it. When you actually look at what you actually get on a monthly basis, you get the holiday pay, you get the sick pay, you get your pension, you get your this, that and the other, and in America you've got your 401ks and everything like that you're all paying to, and your dental plans and your health insurance. And it's like when you actually look and break down what you actually get a month, it's actually a lot more than just going, oh well, I don't get a payday anymore, I'm gonna make my own money. It's it's such a big thing.
It is. It's, well, we said it before. It's a big lifestyle choice as well, and there's so many positives that come from it that we haven't really touched on. But there's a lot of things that impact on your financial flow of money and the amount of hours you may now have to work or not, depending on.
I'm working more hours now than I ever did. So I had a 37.5-hour week job, Monday to Friday, 8 till 4. Never had to work weekends, and had the occasional call out in the middle of the night when it was an IT job. So when the IT system fell over at 3 o'clock in the morning, you get a phone call. But that was like once every 3 months or so, and you just had to log in and do it. But other than that, it was it was an easy. I mean, it was soul destroying, and it was affecting my mental health because I hated it, and that's why I got out as quickly as I did into eBay, because it was just it was just making me ill. But and I've completely lost my train of thought.
It happens. Well, while you get back on that train, Tea Cake says it's not like we're digging holes or lugging buckets of cement up a ladder. It's easy, fun work, and always different. That is true, but being in complete control of your income adds its own stress, is what I would say.
Yes, I was, and now I'm working sort of 50-60 hour weeks. I'm getting up at 4 o'clock on a Sunday morning, to go out and find stock that so I can make my money. It was never thought getting up at 4 o'clock on a Sunday. That was heresy, to do that. And now it's like, right, I'm up, bed at 10 Saturday night. I'm up early and I'm out raring to go. And and obviously it's paying me less per hour at the moment because I'm reinvesting everything. So it's probably paying me £2 an hour to do this job, but I wouldn't have it any other way now. I just wouldn't want to go back at all.
And again, people hearing that will just be like, how, why? But that's a decision, because you're trying to build a business and because you are in the position that you have a partner that's got an income in. So, and everybody who does this will have different situations. And we get asked a lot, how much do you earn a year, Nick? How much do you make a week, Nick? And I basically avoid that question because it's not relevant. It's not what I make and I'm comfortable living on is irrelevant to what you might need, to what the viewers might need. You have to be very brutally honest with your situation financially, how much you need, how much you're capable of earning, and do all of that for yourself, because it will be different for me and different for everybody else. So I think the honesty factor, if anyone watching this is thinking, I could do this, I'm going to do this. First thing is break down how much you need, work out how much you need to survive, or you need to live at your current comfort level. Let's call it that, your lifestyle.
And then add about 50% to it before you start, because there's always the stuff that you don't remember. Is like, like the MOT, the car, the service at the end of the year for the car, and like everything, things that renew once a year and things like that, plus unexpected payments. So whatever you think your monthly expenses are, multiply it, add another 50% onto it, and you won't be too far wrong, I think.
Exactly. So be honest about what you need to get out of this, and then do some experiments. If you're doing it in your part-time, track how many hours you put in a month, say, doing it part-time, and then work out exactly what actual profit you make for all those hours, and then you can extrapolate from that what you might be able to earn full-time.
Right. But it's not all about the money, though. If it was purely about the money, I'd probably gone and got another job. But it's not. And so it's the lifestyle. It's being able to get up when you want, go to bed when you want, do what you want in a day. So, okay, what I need to do, not my boss needs me to do this tomorrow. I need to do this tomorrow. So you've got your commitments, or the commitment you've got is the stuff that you've sold today. You need to get out the door tomorrow. Everything else is entirely up to you.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to go to the boot fair, go to the boot fair. If you want to go to a jumble trail instead, go to the jumble trail instead. And if you have a bad day, you've got nobody to explain it to other than yourself. But on the flip side to that, if you have a really, really good day, like reselling is so isolating. You haven't got anybody to share it with. So this is why I'm on YouTube. It's why you're on YouTube. It's why why we have this community. That's why I started. It's so that I can go, look what I found. I paid £1 for this. I could sell that for £100. The rest of the family, it's like, okay, okay. It's like, buy me something when you sell it. It's like,
I share things with my family still, obviously, and you can see in their eyes. But you shared a story like this last week when I saw it. It's like the thrill never gets old for me, but it gets old for them really quick.
That's right, dear. Okay, you carry on. You're happy, right? Fine. So I'll go back to reading.
Quickly. Wafer Maker Kev, Micah Ching has vanished. Not the same. Reinstall the app. Mine disappears quite regularly on my iPhone. Just uninstall and reinstall eBay, and fingers crossed it'll come back. But yeah, you're right. I mean, we weren't being down on it. I think we were being realistic about the finances and about how tough this can be as a life decision to sell other people's junk for a living. Sounds very romantic and lovely. It's a lot of hard work. It's a lot of hours, and can be quite stressful because all of that financial stuff is on your shoulders. You don't have someone else that's going to pay you at the end of the month. But the reason Andrea and I quit our fairly decent jobs 20 odd years ago and are still doing this now is it's given us control over our life. It's given us freedom of time. We started this when our daughter was born, and we were there for all of those moments. She was at home with us. That was a big factor in us deciding to do this. And we've gained so much more from this freedom. I don't deal with stress very well, so the police force was the wrong place for me. And
it's such a small part of it. And when you take the whole thing, the money is such a tiny part. You have enough of what's necessary, and then the rest is your time, your family, your freedom to live your life rather than working to live rather than living to work, and working 9 to 5 for somebody else. You're not happy. Most people aren't happy doing their jobs.
Well, it's interesting because doing a job for somebody, it's safe, it's great, but you don't get the sense of achievement. And it's a selfish thing, I guess, but I love the sense of achievement I have from I created this money. I magicked this money out of thin air. You know what I mean? I didn't go and trade my time for money. I didn't go and do that. I mean, and that is, I think, the essence of it for me. It's control and it's freedom. It's always back to that.
When I moved units the week before last, and it was like realised that was like the 19th of August. That was 1 year since I started, and I'd got everything all into it, and I went, "This is what I've created in a year, all me, off my own back, with no help from any, from 99% from anybody. Obviously, you have people come and help you out for a little bit here and there, but it's like this is what I've achieved, and and there's a great deal of pride in that. It's like this is mine, this is my empire, as small as it is, but it's this is my hard work that's paid off for me, not my hard work that's paid off for somebody else. So they're increasing their share prices or profits or anything. This is all me, and I was really happy that day.
Yeah, I think that's really well put, actually. That does sum a lot of the feelings up. Apparently they sold out. I assume we're talking about this Spotify thing. I was going to try and take advantage of it. If you're not talking about that, I don't know what you are talking about. Okay.
Yeah. There is some clause that says I'm not allowed to resell it. I'll have Spotify suing me tomorrow.
We already have a family Spotify account. Oh, did you have to create a new one? Or I don't know. Anyway,
no, it's for existing customers. So we've had it for a couple of years.
Oh,
just logged in. It's, you can have a home hub. It's like, okay, thank you.
Hi, Steve. Yeah, I briefly mentioned you before about your, deciding to quit the job, the 9 to 5, and go into full time. Perhaps we should have a chat as well at some point, Steve, and let me know how you've found it, because it's not an easy step. Let's see if we've got any questions. I did make a few notes. What else did I want to ask you? Oh yeah, we can touch on some of that. Let's see what the chat's saying quickly. Bailey, I think you have to have that dealer side in you from the start, but the rest is knowledge as you grow. I think it really helps. I mean, you can learn it, but I think I've chatted like this with probably 50, 60, maybe 100 different resellers in the last 6 years. And almost everyone has that story in the past, like your Beanie Baby adventures, or it's like dealing in trading cards at school, selling sweets to the other kids. So a lot of people, not everybody, but a lot of people have that element in them. And I think that makes it easier to evolve into something like this, for sure. Okay. Oh, Zahir's in.
Hi, Z.
It's definitely a rabbit hole. Right, I'm going to try and get down to the end of the chat. Yeah, good luck, Lloydie. It can be done. Oh, for sure it can be done. And there's no right and wrong. I mean, we're just sharing our experiences, and that's all any of us do on our channels. But there's so many different ways of doing this.
Yeah, I'm nowhere near and sort of like an expert of anything. I'm just a 43-year-old guy having the time of his life, buying cheap crap and selling it for a little bit more money, and doing it, living my life the way I want, and just having the time of my life. And that if I have to do that all the way through my retirement because I haven't got much of a pension, and do it to the day I die, then I'll do it to the day I die. It's not. I mean, it's work, but it doesn't feel like work, and I don't see that changing. It's like just top up the state pension in 30 years. That may have me wait until I'm about 100 before I can draw it anyway. But top it up. It's like, okay, well, my pension's not enough. I'll go down the boot fair tomorrow and I'll pick something, whatever's at the top. Pick up a box set or something and sell it and make myself an extra 20 quid that week. You be able to scale it in retirement. Just go, okay, well, I'll go back to just plodding along.
Yeah, briefly touching on the pension thing, we don't think there'll be much of a pot to spread around by the time we're claiming, honestly. So we made plans years and years ago to invest in property, and I'm so glad we made that decision. But anyway, Ben has highlighted or sent a comment. I work full-time and resell on eBay in the spare time. I'm regularly sourcing FreeCycle on Facebook Marketplace. Got a bundle of books from FreeCycle last week. Sold one book for 250.
Very nice.
Look at that.
There's money everywhere.
Yeah,
they're everywhere, and it's in the least expected places as well.
Yeah, I think I said this before. I think if you try and sum up what you need to kind of do this the way we choose to do it, it's being able to spot an opportunity, because they crop up everywhere. Like Ben's just described, he bought a bundle of books from FreeCycle. We didn't buy them, he got given them. Right? And it's about spotting an opportunity. Obviously, I doubt you knew there was a £250 book in there, but also you were prepared to take the chance, right? It's like that 700 odd CDs I crammed in the back of the Mini a couple of weeks ago. Andrea thought I was mad at the time. I was thinking I was a bit mad. But just scanning them into the media buyers was £200 for a few hours work. And I've still got 200 odd left I'm going to bundle up. So it's about, I don't know, being able to spot something and make it earn you money, I think.
And the more chances you take, the luckier you are. the more boot fair stores you put yourself in front of, the more likely you are to find the Mewtwo, and the more Facebook posts you look at, you're going to find that one thing that's not there. The more charity shops you go into, the more likely you are to find that, like Ankh-Morpork board game that's 200, 150 pounds or whatever. If you don't do it, and fails, you pick up stuff, and it's like, well, that was a load of crap, and it is a load of crap, and it turns out it's like, and the amount of times you'll look something up on eBay, and you're like, oh, that's triple what I'm paying for it, and then you get home and you look the same thing up, and it's like, you can't find it. It's worthless. Where was the one that was worth £100? It's not. It's worth £2.99. Yeah, it's like, so you do the fails and all that, but as long as your balance is more than that, then you're laughing.
I think you touched on something that I'm so passionate about. People saying that I'm really lucky when I find something that's a home run. I'm like, yeah, I was really lucky I got up at 6 a.m. I was really lucky that I drove half an hour to a muddy field in the dark with a torch. I was really lucky that I ran around as many stores as possible. I was really lucky I rummaged in that, but no, I created that chance. And it's about putting the hours in. Nobody walks into a charity shop for the first time and the first thing they pick up is a £200 camera. It doesn't happen. You go in 50 or 100 shops and maybe find one if you're lucky. Anyway.
I'll keep at it.
Oh, look who's in. We now know that Damien spent his working career playing Minecraft. True story.
I have never played Minecraft in my entire life. I was talking about Minesweeper. There's a big difference.
Minesweeper, yeah, get it right, Andrew. Okay. Just seeing if there's any other question. Thank you, Carl. That's really nice of you to say so. It's such an amazing live stream. Love these chats. I do want to get back into these for well over a year, I think it was, if not a couple of years. Zahir and I were doing a regular one, and that kind of had its day, and then I was doing guest ones quite regularly, but I
all of you and Zahir's ones and just flicking backwards between your two channels, because you used to alternate them each week, didn't you, on your channel and in his channel. That was a thought, but I think over the space of about a month I watched them all.
Yeah, that was fun. Yeah, it used to be on here, and then we alternated for a while, and I think it just exhausted itself after a while. Okay, let's see if we've got any more. Yeah, that's what we're touching on before. People need to look at their expenses and have full self-awareness, and that's not easy to do. And I think if people would ask me one tip about thinking about going full-time, it's just be honest about your financial situation. The last thing you want to do is give up a job that works for you and has given you enough to get by on, and then 3 or 4 months down the line think, oh my goodness, I can't make enough out of reselling to make this work. And there are ways I think you can test the water by, like I was saying, tracking what you can make per hour for a couple of months doing it part-time, and just get a sense of what you can actually make, and then work out what you need to make.
And another good thing as well is if you've got a full-time job or a part-time job and you're trying to work out, can I live without it? When you get paid, move the entire salary into a savings account, forget about it, and see if you can live on your income from what you're doing. You've still got the money there if you fail. You can transfer it back, but get to the month. Had you had to go into it? If you've had to go into it, you're not making enough money from eBay. There's ways of trying to visualize it and for yourself, and that's one way. So if you're going to do without your salary, then just pretend you haven't got it now.
Yeah. Jay Dennis, you will always get items you profit on and ones you lose money on. The way forward is not to get too many losses. Absolutely. And don't dwell on it as well. I mean, we all remember the times we get scammed, the times we spend 30 quid on something that was, well, I just noticed Steve saying he picked up a fake Louis Vuitton shirt today. We've all been there. But you have to focus on the whole month, how much you've made in that month, and then it's a tiny percentage that you messed up on.
Yeah.
And you'll learn from that. And unless you're really daft, you won't do it again.
I try to sort of amalgamate everything. So I see people say, well, this owes me £10, so I need to get more than £10 profit out of it. No, that doesn't owe you. You might have bought that for £10, but it doesn't owe you £10. That's in your stockpile. You sell it for as much as you can. You're going to have things that you're not going to make much profit on. You're going to have things that you're going to make 50 times what you paid for it on. You've got what you've spent on stock, and you've got what you're selling it for. Obviously, you need to keep an eye on it. You know, there's no point in selling everything for less than what you're actually paying for it. But I see people get hung up on, that they'll put something up for 50 quid and then they'll get an offer for 30. And it's like, well, I don't want to sell it for 30 because I paid 15 for it. And it's like, I want to get 50. And then they'll lose the sale. And it's like, well, no, pay 30, take 30, get the money in and turn it over and spend it on other stuff and just move your stock forward. If you get too bogged down on individual things that you've bought, whether they're they're the bolos or whether they're the no-nos, then you're going into it too right, and then you're losing sight of the bigger picture. So it's like you've got your stock worth £10,000 or whatever, sell it for £10,000. If you paid £1,000 for it or whatever. So don't on the individual items. Just that item does not owe you money.
And that's not always an easy lesson to learn. It took me a long time to look at my business that way. Even when we had a high street shop and we were turning over crazy numbers, I still couldn't really see it that way. We were buying wholesale video games from Microsoft, this, that, and the other. And I used to stick rigidly to, but this cost me 25 quid wholesale. I've got to get at least 30 for it. No, that game's now dropped out of the charts. Nobody wants it. Get a tenner for it quick before it's worth £1, right? And I was too slow. And retail is cutthroat like that. You have to cut your losses fast in retail. That's why we see Tesco doing it week in, week out. It's about getting the most you can for your item. If you've made a mistake, suck it up. And get rid of it. Get rid of it quick. Yeah.
If you want any resale value at all, sell it for £1. Right? Get rid of it. Take it down to boot fair. Whatnot, move on to the next thing. Just get it sold, get that money, use that money to buy other things, and just move on and just see it all as one big thing. Don't go, well, that item cost me £5, so I can't accept XYZ for it. It's like, well, no, somebody's offering you £10 in exchange for that. I'll have the £10, please. I'll get rid of that. I can buy something better with that £10. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Or I can buy food. It's like, well, whatever.
It sounds simple, but that took me a long time to learn, I'll be honest. I've still got Steve's comment highlighted. Says, I had a fail today. Spent 15 on a Louis Vuitton polo shirt, 100% fake. I get distracted by shiny things and don't use my brain. Okay. We've all been there, Steve.
Shiny things. Love shiny things.
Yeah.
Shiny's good. Even when it's fake.
Global Thrifters, good to see you. It's also self-motivation to pick yourself up and make sure the work gets done when you only have yourself that to give you that kick. Sorry, I can't read. Absolutely. That's another thing I've touched on many times and that I struggle with still, always have, is time management and self-motivation. I've just been chatting with some of the other reseller guys. We're going to do another listing challenge next week. I need that push. I still need that push to just get stuff done. Are you good at that side of things or not?
I have to. It's something I have to be conscious of. Self-employment can make you lazy if you let it. And it's like, okay, it was like, I'll have a line, so I'll get up at 10 because I can, and it's like, no, get up at 8 o'clock and go and do that. And in those 2 hours, you've gone around all the charity shops. At 10 o'clock, you can still go down the unit and do all your packing and everything like that. Every now and again, it's great. It's like, right, sod it. I'm not getting out of bed at all today. Tomorrow, all right, we'll start again. And then eBay punishes you because you didn't list anything on that day. So,
Well, here's the thing. We talked earlier about a big reason we do this is having the freedom, not having a boss that says you must, make 50 widgets today and I'll give you some money. But having the control means I can stay in bed, but it doesn't mean you should.
No,
having that choice is tricky, and I am terrible at that. The thing is, I'm terrible at getting going. Once I get into it, I love it. I really genuinely love what I do. So you may have seen recently, I was live streaming every day to try and switch my sleep pattern around because I end up working at night.
How are you doing this?
It's not clever.
Yeah.
Oh, dear.
You're like me. You're a natural night owl.
Mm.
If you took every single clock away in the world, and you never knew what time it is, you'd be up all night and you'd sleep while the sun's up. Yeah, because that's what I would do. And I got into that when I worked out of school. I worked in a factory doing night shifts, and I did night shifts solid, like 10 till 6 for 2 years. And ever since then, it's like I want to be awake at night. So in the morning, I'm like, can't do anything. But once I get going, and then I could carry on. It's like I'm awake now. It's midnight, but let's list something, or let's send out offers to watchers or whatever. Let's watch another YouTube video. I don't do mornings very well, and I don't do daylight. But at the same time, I try to keep my business pretty much as 9 to 5 as possible. I try to keep that structure because Luke's got that structure. Yeah. So try to keep the evenings and weekends, apart from boot fairs, obviously, as much as possible. Where to keep that structure, because with that structure also means that I get up and do it. I will get up at the same time and do everything that needs to be done, and then I can have my evenings rather than just go, oh, okay, I'll get up at 11 and then still find myself working at 10 o'clock at night, and it's like we want to watch a movie, and it's like, no, I just need to do this listing. I just need to do this. And
the problem. Sorry, the problem I was finding when I was really back to front is, obviously I have a daughter and a wife who are fairly normal sleep-wise, so I was missing that time. And then, like you say, when they're winding down and oh, do you want to come in and we'll put a movie or whatever, I'm like, no, I'm in the middle of listing, like I'm normal. And Andrea go to bed at 11, and I'd roll into bed at 4 or 5 in the morning, and it's just I was losing touch with my own wife because I was on a different time scale. So that's why I tried to fix it. I noticed today I was slipping back, so I need to catch myself before I turn into a vampire.
There needs to be a certain degree of structure, even if it's just a very loose structure. That if it's simple as you do what I do, you ship Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays. Okay, well, so you work your day those days around that. So it's like, okay, it's Monday, it's a shipping day. You obviously got the weekend orders, so you get up and do that. You've got to be at the post office by a certain time. You can, if you're not going to have a regular sort of structure, you put in stops along the way. So okay, well, on this day that needs to be done by that time, and then you can just join the dots in between, and then you still got a reasonable structure to it, rather than just going, okay, well, I'll do the shipping this afternoon if I feel like it, and then I'll list something. I might stick a couple of listings on in the morning, and then don't, because you've got a headache, and then you just watch it and it's like, oh, so he's gone live, okay, well, watch that, and then you've lost the day. I
find if I force myself to just list one item, it's like mentally it kind of opens that up, and I'm like, okay, that was easy and quite enjoyable, and then I'll do another one. If I don't get started and I think, oh, well, I'll just watch that video that I put in my to watch list yesterday, and I'll just do this, and it's breaking the seal and listing an item. I mean, today I was just researching and cleaning and stuff, and then I get really frustrated because it feels like I've done nothing all day. I have, but it feels like I've done nothing. But yeah, I find listing that one item gets me going. Andrea looks like she's watching. She was agreeing about looking at your stock as a whole as an investment, and then you get what you can back on that investment. I always like to look at it that your money is made when you purchase the item, and then I do forget generally what I've paid for it, because it doesn't matter. I'm going to get as much as I can for this, whether that's less than I paid for it or not. Lose track of
lose track of what many things that it's like worth £100 on the day that you buy it, and then it gets added to your debt pile, and you forget about it. And 6 months later, it's only worth 50 quid. And every now and again, it might be worth £150, but it's not what you paid for it at the time. It's like, well, what's it worth today? I'm listing it today. That's what it's worth. Or, if it's been sat on your store for 3 months and then somebody sends you a really crappy offer through, and it's like, well, is that £10? Am I going to get any more than that £10 for it? And it's like, it might have cost you 20 quid, but it's like, and you let go of that. Right, okay, it's £10 sold. Right, get it out the door.
Yeah, don't take me wrong. It stings when you do it, but you have to just move on.
Yeah.
And I've said many times on this channel that selling something for what you paid for it is sometimes fantastic business.
That's a success in itself sometimes.
Yeah.
Not
Cashing in stuff where you've bought a job lot of whatever's, it didn't work out, they didn't sell at Christmas, and it's like you can still get your £10 an item back, whatever it is, after fees and that. Do it quick, because you don't know that in 6 months you might be struggling to sell them at all if it's a fad item or whatever, and it happens. I just wanted to read Frankie's finds thing saying, I collect a very small pension after rent, electric and insurance. There's very little left over for necessities. eBay is great and has saved me many times. Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for the comment. Okay. I think I'm near the bottom of the chat. Yeah, there we go. What else was I going to quiz you about? Yeah, sourcing. So you mentioned, is boot sales your main source of stuff or not?
For the last few minutes, yeah, it's boot fairs. I'm very lucky to have a honey hole charity shop within walking distance. So that they will very nicely see me through winter, because they very nicely saw me through last winter. I'm been really pushing RA for the last couple of months, for buying with Q4 and Christmas in mind. So hopefully we'll see how it goes, because obviously I was reliant on boot fairs, and got up to Christmas last year, didn't have the boot fairs, and there's one that runs all year round apart from December, because it's in a park and ride, and they use it for obviously cars for Christmas, and so that's supposed to start back up in January, and then it rained every Sunday for 10 weeks in a row, and that took us through to mid-March. And then in mid-March, I got one boot fair, and then it was like, so I have other ways of sourcing stock that has seen me through. So it's charity shops and boot fairs and a bit of Facebook, and it's wherever I can. It's like I will keep my ear to the ground. I'll keep, if somebody's offering stuff. I mean, I sort of got my parents to donate some stuff from the loft during lockdown. It's like, have this. It's like, great, fine, thank you very much. I'll have that. So you take whatever opportunities you've got. But boot fairs we're running out of season now, so hoping what I've managed to get will see me through a fair bit of it. I'm in a lot stronger position than I was this time last year, obviously because I was only starting. But yeah, I've got
and if people that do follow your channel, they'll have seen you in a container unit. So you have off-site storage. How does that work for you?
I have a shipping container that's in a sort of one of these self-storage companies that they only do. It's one a local independent one. They only do shipping containers. They don't have sort of like lockers like Bit Yellow or anything like that. And I've got 24-hour access, 7 days a week. I've got a fob that lets me in. I've got electricity in there now. The first one didn't. So I just run everything from there. So nothing's at the house anymore, apart from a few odd little bits of stuff that's just lying around. Still got those Skylanders that I showed you last week. They're still sat down there. I haven't taken them. So I just run everything from the unit, and I go down there and I ship and do my packing. I've got a computer in there, and I run it like you do your office.
What a mess, you mean?
Yeah. It's an absolute pigsty at the moment. It's only been sort of tidied up a couple of weeks ago. It's like I've just got so much to the point where I can see myself next year getting a second unit and having one with listed stuff in it.
Oh, dangerous.
Yeah, I know. And one with unlisted stuff, so I can just like fill it in, because I'm tripping over stuff all the time. It's like this.
Well, have a word with Tom about getting another unit and then another unit.
But one's not enough, and it's like I know where I am now with the stock levels that I've got, and the finances and the sales that's bringing in on a week-to-week basis. And I know that's not where I want to be in another year or two. In a couple of years' time, as I was talking to Andrea about this the other day, by the time I get to 2022, I want to be knocking on the VAT threshold. I want to be in a position where that's on my mind, whether I go past it or whether I'm staying under it or whatever. And I'm not near that yet, and sort of obviously this year has slowed things down more than I would have liked. I'd like to have been further along, but I know that the space that I've got and the stock that I've got is not going to be enough to do that. So I'm going to need more space. So have a second unit, or a bigger space. But where I'm down in Kent, so you're only in Hertfordshire, so you know what the prices are like for industrial space and all that. They're really, really, really expensive.
When we had it was just when I started this channel, we were actually in a unit which was like a little mini warehouse and office space. And
so I'd love something like that.
Yeah, it's the combined rent and all the amenities and rates. If you have to pay rates on it, it soon adds up. So we made the decision at that point to shell out the lump sum to convert what I'm in now, and it made perfect sense because we've kind of kept that money because it's added it to the value of the house. And you know, if I think about the accumulated money we would have spent renting that little warehouse, we'd have spent what I spent on this by now anyway. So yeah, it makes sense.
I would convert, but I'm in an apartment block, and I don't think the neighbours would be too happy if I stole their living room. I've only got a car park out there, so there's no garden, so I can't put a shed in it or anything like that. So I have to rely on sort of outside space at the moment, like a shipping container, for all the disadvantages that does have, i.e. in the summer, you know, when we had the hot weather a couple of weeks ago, it's like 50 degrees in there and it's like sweat's just dripping off me as soon as I walked in, to in a couple of months' time, you know, I'm going to be like in my mittens trying to do shipping because it's so bloody cold. But you know, the swings around roundabouts. But you know, at the moment, the cost of that is £130 a month all in, with all the electricity that I can use. There's no meter on that. That's proportional to what I want to pay out at the moment. So
yeah, exactly. And everybody, as we touched on at the beginning, financially, everyone's in a different financial situation. Everyone's in a different home life situation, and you make it work for you. If that means renting space, then you've got to do it. If it means squeezing yourself in the loft, that Steve does very well, you know, putting stuff in the loft. Ours is full of stuff. You know, you make it work somehow. Ali's saying rule number 1 of reselling club is that a thing now? Is there a reselling club? Must have messy office. Well, I'm a member.
It's organised chaos, and 99% of the time I do know where everything. I know where everything is until I tied it up. When I've tied it up, can I find anything? No, it'll go missing.
I've got hooks, nails. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've got at least 5 pairs of scissors in this office, and I've got 5 little nails there. I actually tied it up today, so there's 2 pairs of scissors hanging up. Usually there's none, and I can't find scissors. I literally have 5 pairs of scissors in this office. Anyway, let's not go there. Right, before we wrap this up, just wanted to chat a little bit about YouTube. We touched on that a couple of times. You have a channel, which I've linked below. So if people don't follow Damien, the link is below for that. What can people expect on your channel? What sort of videos?
I just do the usual. I try to do at least 1 video a week most of the time, which is usually a Monday. And like I said, I'm not an expert. I don't pretend I know anything, so I don't. You know, I just show my journey. I just show what I bought, what I sell, what I do on a day-to-day basis. I've just done a week of videos, of 7 videos of like what do I do all week. So this is the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So I just show me. For all the mistakes I make, all the good bits that I do. I don't pretend that I'm an expert. I'm not a guru. I don't teach you how to do anything. If you learn anything from it, great. But you know, it's just me. It's as I said, I'm just a guy in my 40s. I'm having the time of my life doing reselling. I want to share like the good bits and the bad bits with other people that understand. So I've got a YouTube channel, and you can sort of come and watch with me and. You know, share the ride, and I think we share that attitude, and I think that's a good attitude to come into this, saying this isn't how to do it, this is how I do it. And Andrea and I have been trying to repeat that mantra a lot recently, because I think people find our channel and think, because we're here on YouTube, because we've been on YouTube quite a while, because we do this full time, we must have all the answers. It's not true. We make this up as we go along, and we make all the mistakes everyone else makes. We don't really know a lot about much.
I keep saying as well, I know a little bit about a lot of things. I know enough to get myself in trouble quite often. You know, it's just
Always.
exactly what you said. We share what we do, and that's it, really.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see if there's any more messages we'll read out before we wrap this one up. Hi, Jay Dennis. We are in a rented building, belongs to the local lord. All right. So bought a van and just this as extra storage on the drive. But watch out, they sweat in cold weather, so no good for fragile stuff. Yeah, Tom found with one of his units that it leaked and he lost a lot of stock through that. And I think in the hot, don't they perspire as well, the metal ones? Or is it really cold?
I think it's more the winter. I will be as the weather gets colder. I will be keeping a very close eye on whether there's any condensation or anything like that. And I've done the research into mitigating, things that I can use to mitigate it, like these giant things that you want to absorb all the moisture, should I need them. But it's dry. I've looked on the roof of it where you get the telltale sort of rust spots where condensation's been in previous years. There's nothing there, dry as a bone. So fingers crossed. Seals around the doors are absolutely perfect. There's no breaks in those. So
just quickly, when we had our high street store for nearly a decade, it was a gaming trade-in store, a bit like CX. We moved to a bigger unit with a great big basement, and we used to have a dehumidifier running virtually non-stop because of the damp problem. And we were storing media down there. All of my Amazon listed stuff was down there, loads of overstocks and all sorts. And if I didn't have that running, you'd get the little crinkly on the sleeves, you get that, and it doesn't take long to happen. So yeah, dehumidifiers are great for that.
I'm going to be very, very vigilant, but I don't see they're good quality containers. They're good seals, and the walls are in good condition, as in there's no signs of previous years of condensation in them. So hopefully should be all right. But I've got contingencies in place should that need to change, but I don't see any issues.
Kelly is continually losing measuring tape again. I wouldn't be surprised if I've got 10 measuring tapes. And pens. Oh my god, it drives me nuts.
Sharpies always go missing. Sharpies are the ones that sort of just it's like, where's my Sharpie? Essential tool.
Car keys. Speak to Andrea, she'll tell you.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I really enjoyed that. Thank you for joining me, Damien.
Having me on.
No, it's a pleasure. It's been long overdue. So as we were saying, Damien has a channel. Please go and check that out. The link is below, and perhaps we'll do this again sometime.
Yeah, love to.
So we will be live again on Sunday. We do a regular hangout on Sunday evenings. If you've not seen that one, 8 o'clock we go live on Sunday. Have you got another video up soon?
I have promised to do a video of like an August sales roundup, because it's been a few months since I've actually done a what sold one. So depending on what else is on tomorrow, I'll try and get that done. If not, that might be next week, but I will do a Monday video.
Cool.
What's been going on over the week, what boot fairs and whatnot, pickups and that. So
it's very easy to get behind. We've now got two Jumble Trail videos kind of in the can but not edited, and a boot sale one, and I need to do a sales roundup. It's just I
don't have anything in the can. I film, I upload. I don't do the fancy graphics or anything like that. I will edit it down as best as I can, but it's like I don't have like 2-3 videos lined up ready to go out when I don't have a death pile of videos.
I find it gets really stressful when I know they're sat there waiting to edit, and people are like, "Oh, when's the next awesome video coming out?" I'm like, "When I can find some time." People thanking us for the chat. It's a pleasure. Really informative chat. Good. I'm glad it was. Thanks, Aaron. Yes, Niall. Lots. Oh, Derek was in. As I said. A few of us are doing a listing challenge. I think the plan is we've decided Monday to Friday next week. We capped it at 6, so we can have 6 of us in a stream when we do the results. So I think it is myself, Derek, Andrew, Vinegar Jar Pete, who have I forgotten? George and Richard, Derek's brother. I think that's the 6 of us. So we're going to be tracking how many items we list. I lost badly last time with this. How many items we list and the combined monetary value. So we're going to try and keep each other on track next week. So yeah. Right. Thanks again. And thanks for joining us, everybody. And we'll see you soon.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.